What's excuse me, what's up, tribe? How you guys doing this evening? Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is gonna be your review of Queen Sugar, season 4, episode 6, I think. So, or was it season 3? Sorry, season 3, episode 6, I believe. All right, so y'all know I wasn't happy with with a lot of stuff that happened in last week's episode. So this week we're gonna kind of see how some of that stuff is coming into play for the storyline. So we start off with, you see Nova's in bed contemplating, thinking. You see this whole situation where her and Remy is really weighing on her. Phone is going off. It's Remy texting her, right? Just checking in. Hey, how you doing? How's it going? Men are so oblivious. Like, he acting like he doesn't see a problem with this situation. Like, you wasn't just sleeping with her sister 6 months ago. Like, dude, I like you, Remy, but I'm gonna need you to not pretend like you don't get it, because you're not that dumb. You get it, and you know that this is some bullshit, and you know that what you trying to do or what y'all about to do is wrong. But I'm gonna leave that there. Vi's calling Nova saying, look, I need you here. My assistant called out. Hollywood's out of town. I got this order I need to fill. You're the only person that I trust in my kitchen. I need you. And Nova tries to get out of it, but Vi is like, look, get down here. And we all have that. She is the matriarch of the family. And when she calls, you jump no matter what. That was my grandmother. Hilda call. Don't matter what you doing, what you think you doing, you going over there to see whatever Hilda want. That was the matriarch in our family. So I know. When she called, nothing else matters. So anyway, and they end up having a really good day full of really good conversations. Nova Nova gets to do work anyway, because she ends up taping some of her and Aunt Vi's conversation about the land and how important the land was to their family. Vi tells her, look, I never dreamed that I'd be a business owner. I was raised to be a wife and mother. I didn't know anything else. I didn't know that I could dream this big. And look at all these blessings that are coming to me. She talks about how much she loves Hollywood and how she just never thought she would be this happy and all of these blessings would be coming to her. But when Nova tried to get her to talk about the lupus, she was like, nope, not talking about the lupus. You're not putting that in your book. That's not part of this. And Nova was like, why? Like, people need to hear your story. People need to be inspired by your story as a black woman who's struggling with this and still making it work and still working it. And Vi was like, no, she said I'm a black woman who owns a business. Don't nobody need to know I have a weakness. And I feel her on that, and I feel so bad, because that is the reality. Like, that is valid. That is a valid thought. So, but they end up having a really good conversation. The whole time, no phone going off, these texts coming through. And Aunt Vi tried to ask her, like, what's that? What's going on? And she said it's complicated. And Aunt Vi, not knowing who it was telling, Nova, I just don't want you to shut yourself off to love, and you can be hard sometime. I want you to just be open to the possibility of love. But she don't know who it is, because if she knew who it was, she wouldn't be that free with her advice. You feel me? All right. So that's how that went down. And that was, like I said, that was a good day that they had. And she talks about how she's going to dinner at the guy's house, the owner of the grocery store who's carrying her pies. How he invited her to dinner, so she's going over there. So we get to that. Then we have, next up on the agenda, we have Charlie dealing with the whole thing with Davis. Now, it seems to me that the only reason why Davis came... Well, we already know the only reason why Davis came clean is because the mother of this baby died, and now he has to take responsibility for this child, full-time responsibility. Because at that point, it's been 13 years. If he hadn't said nothing, he wasn't going to say nothing. But then we see that the tabloids, the newspaper, have gotten hold of it. So, again, were you telling your family because you really was trying to come clean? Or were you telling your family because you knew it was about to hit the news and you knew it was about to be public information, which made it just even worse. So, of course, Charlie tries to talk to Micah. Micah ain't really trying to have that conversation. He checks on her though. He like, "Ma, are you okay?" But as far as us having a conversation about Dad, nope. He goes to school, and of course, it's the gossip of the school, and you get people to making little smart comments at him and everything. And Kiki is like, "Look, don't worry about them. They'll be on to something else by lunch. Hold your head up. Meet me after school so we can talk. We can hang out, right? Cool." Micah, after school, decides to go out with his new crew, and he stands Kiki up. She's calling him and texting him, and he giving her some bullshit. Something came up, he had to go. But dude, you don't think that she gonna find out that you were really with these fellas and the girl instead of meeting up with her? So I don't know what's going on with that. But they end up having a run in with some racists, and Micah plays Billy Badass and yanks the Confederate flag off the truck, and because they called them, it was just a racist thing. They called the girl a black bitch and told them, "Get out of this where we hang out. You hanging out in our place, and just like colored people, y'all don't know y'all place." That whole little. And Micah jumped to the bait. It ended up not being a fight though. They ran off. But they were still kicked off the land because they really were on somebody else's land. And he told them get off his land before he called the police. But then, of course, his new friends were impressed. They were like, "Oh, man, that was cool. How you ripped that flag and everything." Mike ain't really about that life. Y'all know. And they know it, too. Mike ain't really about that life. If that dude had jumped out that truck and got in Micah's face, he would have been pissing his pants. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. I ain't mean that like in the situation where that happened last year with the cop and he actually did piss his pants. I was just using that as an expression. But he'd have been scared if that dude had jumped out of the car. But anyway, but like I've said, that whole clique that is headed in a really bad direction. I don't like where it's headed, and Micah, especially with this whole thing with your dad and everything, that is just not going to end well at all. Now, Charlie, on the other hand, Charlie is doing what Charlie does. She's compartmentalizing. She's not talking to anybody. She's not opening up to anybody. She's focusing on other stuff so that she doesn't have to focus on the David situation. She runs across the land, and she sees those guys from the bar. And she goes up to them and she says, "Are y'all from the EPA?" And they were like, "EPA?" They were like, "No." And she said, "Well, where are you guys from? What are you doing?" And they said, "Well, we're surveyors. We're working for Landry." She said, "Well, what are you guys surveying?" And then at that point, the dude must have realized, okay, he said, "I can't really tell you all that." So Charlie was like, "Well, let me get your business card." Now, at that point, I feel like she could have played her card to say, "Well, I own a stake in the company. If you talking to them, you could talk to me." But she didn't do that, which was probably the better decision. She asked for a business card, and dude wasn't really trying to give it up. She was like, "It's just a business card. Can I get your business card, please?" And so he hesitantly and reluctantly gave her his business card. So she ran straight to her investigator and was like, "Look, something is up. They kicking people off their land. They got these surveyors. They lied to me about it being an environmental thing. Something is up." And her investigator was like, "No, don't worry about it. We'll get it. We'll get it. But are you okay? I saw the news." So, of course, Charlie, she does open up to her a little bit. Charlie said, "In 13 years, I saw nothing." And I think that's what's bothering Charlie the most is, was I really this big of a fool that I did not see this? And I don't think she was. You know what I'm saying? People are good liars. Like, it is what it is, and it's unfortunate, but that's what she's, dealing with. She said, "I didn't see anything. In 13 years, I saw no signs of any of this, and I just feel like a fool. But she tells Charlie, "Look, we're going to dig and we're going to find something, and if they hiding it, we're going to get it. Don't worry about it." But they have a little moment where she does open up a little bit to her. Then at the end, she's coming home, and Nova is waiting for her. And you remember, her and Nova haven't been speaking. And Nova says, "Look, I saw the news. I just came to check on you." And she snaps at Nova. She's like, "Look, I don't need you. I'm tired. I don't feel like talking about it. I don't need you here. Like, I don't need you right now." And Nova gets it. At that point I was a little nervous. I was like, okay, is Nova gonna get in her feelings and then go hook up with Remy just out of some spite? But she didn't. She did the exact opposite. She went home, and you see her laying in bed again, and she looks at the picture of her and Charlie, and it was a very sisterly picture. It's a very artistic. So it's them from the back hugging each other, and it's a real nice picture. And she sends him a text saying, we can't do this, and that was that. But I'm sure that's not going to be the end of it, but at least she's trying to do the right thing. Okay, last but not least, Ralph Angel, Darla Blue. All right. So, first of all, Darla's parents must be taking care of her. Now that she's clean and she's proven herself to be clean, and she went back home and they probably had some good come to Jesus moments and some good times and all that other stuff, because I didn't say anything the first couple of times I noticed stuff, but now it's too obvious to not say anything. She came back with a new car. I mean, it ain't a Mercedes, but it's a new car. Remember, she was driving that old beat up hatchback. She's got a new car. She doesn't seem to be worried about money. You know what I mean? Like, she ain't working. She looks good. She looks healthy. She looks taken care of. And today, well, on this episode, we saw where she's living. She's living in a really nice house. Again, not no penthouse suite, but it's a house that looks like it's sort of modern and updated, and it's a really nice house. So I said, yeah. And then she was talking about going to school. I said, yeah, her mom and daddy done kicked in, and they taking care of her now that they see that she ain't a crackhead no more. And probably because they know she went back to be a part of her child's life, and they want to make sure that she doesn't have a reason to need money and stress out, stuff like that. So yeah, it looks like her parents are taking care of her. Now, she takes Blue to school, and while she's at school, the teacher tells her, Blue is acting out again. He pushed the boy off the swings, and we just really worried about, and we can't have that, that whole thing. And she says, okay, I'll talk to him, and the teacher says, glad to have you back. We know that he missed you. So that lets you know that everybody knew that she wasn't around, right? So she goes to see Ralph Angel, and when she goes to see Ralph Angel, she runs into the new guy, the ex-con he hired. I don't know why his name won't stick in my head, but the ex-con he hired. And you could tell she ain't really feeling him when she meets him. And she's like, Ralph Angel, why didn't you tell me what was going on with Blue? And Ralph Angel was like, I handled it. He's making baby steps, but in his mind, he still is the sole provider for Blue, and he's the one that is there for Blue, and he really ain't hearing what she got to say. But he said, I handled it. And she was like, well, he's still acting out. She said, look, let him come home with me today. I'll have him back home. I'm not saying spend the night, but let me pick him up from school. Let me take him back to my house. Let's spend some time together. So he agrees to do it. He said, just have him home by bedtime. She was like, cool. So that's when we see she picked Blue up, and we see her new house and everything. And it's because again, it's a really nice house. Got a nice backyard with a play set and all of this. And she actually has at first Blue doesn't want to talk to her. He's avoiding having a conversation with her about what's going on at school. But she finally gets him to open up to her. And he tells her, she said, what did that boy say to you? And I like how she did it, because she was like, look, I know. She didn't automatically assume Blue was just beating kids up for no reason. She said, he must have said something to make you push him off the swing, because I know you wouldn't do that without a reason. She said, and it's okay, you can tell me, like, I'm not gonna get mad, you can tell me what's going on. And he told her, he said, well, the kid said you didn't love me anymore because you left. I said, oh Lord, and so they have a moment, and she, of course lets him know, look, I'm here, I love you, that kind of thing. So he makes a comment about wanting to stay with her. So I was like, okay, here we go with this. Mama, I want to live with you, Mama. So, oh boy, here we go. So when she goes to take him home that night, the dude that's living there, he got his boys. She walks in the house, and there's a bunch of dudes playing cards, drinking, and all that in the kitchen. And she's like, where's Ralph Angel? And they don't even know who Ralph Angel is. They're like, who? Who was that? I don't know who that is. Who's Ralph Angel? She's like, Ralph Angel, the owner, like, this is his house. And the guy comes in, the ex-con, he comes in the room. He said, "Oh, they just playing. They just some of my friends came by to check on me. We just playing some cards. They're gonna leave as soon as the game is over." And then somebody breaks something, and it's a commotion. So then here come Ralph Angel, and I'm like, "Well, where the hell was Ralph Angel anyway? That he didn't hear all this that was going on in the kitchen." So when he comes in, the dude, he had put his boys out. When Ralph Angel came in, he just saw the empty beer bottles, and he saw that something, there was some mess. Ralph Angel told him, "Look, you gotta go," because he had told him very clearly when he let him stay there. He gave him the rules. He said, "Look, you can stay here, but you gotta follow my rules. I got a child. I don't want no mess in my house. I don't want no trouble." He told him. He gave him fair warning. And he told him, "Look, you gotta go." So of course Darla is standing there looking at him like, "What the hell? Like, how could you let him move in here? Like, you had to know this was gonna be some mess." And he was like, "Look, I got it. I got it under control." So she said she talked to him again about, "Why didn't you tell me what was going on with Blue? Like, this is worse than this is more than what you said it was." So they get to arguing, yelling back and forth. Here come Blue. And well, they weren't yelling; they were raising their voice. Blue came in and was like, "Don't talk to my mommy like that," because she told Ralph Angel, "Look, I want to be a bigger part of Blue's life." And Ralph Angel's like, "I got this under control. Like, we good." So Blue comes into the kitchen. He's like, "Don't yell at my mommy like that." And then he tells me, he's like, "I want to live with mommy. I don't want to live here anymore. I want to live with mommy." Ralph Angel was like, "Fine, all right then." And he's hurt. You know what I mean? He's hurt. And Darla is Darla tells Blue, "Going back into your room." I think she said, "Go get your stuff. You gonna stay with me tonight?" I think that's what she said. I'm not sure, but I know that Ralph Angel said fine, because I guess he's tired of fighting, and Blue has been really acting out, and I think he's hurt. He's hurt by it, but I also feel like he knows not to really push Darla, but so much, because at the end of the day, he is not that child's father. And if Darla really wanted to go there, she can go there. You know what I mean? It could get really ugly. But there's that. Now the last little tidbit that happened, when Aunt Vi went over that guy's house, that the owner of the grocery store's house, she met with him and his wife. And I was thinking that this was like a chain grocery store, like a Safeway or something, but it's not. He owns it. I mean, he owns more than one store, but it's his company. And he tells her point blank. He says, "Look, there's something special here with your pies, and I want to help you. Basically, I want to help you expand your business and turn it into a real business and get this into stores, like distribution and all that. And I want to invest in your company." He was like, "Look," and she was like, "Okay, we ain't trying to be like, my face on the front of the pancake box type thing. And if you ain't catch that, T, go look at Imitation of Life. There are two versions of Imitation of Life. One is, which is my favorite version, but the other one is dealing with the pancake maker and that story. Go watch Imitation of Life, because that's what she was talking about." Anyway, but he said, "Oh, no, no, no." He said, "This is real." He said, I really want to, I just see something in you. You remind me of, my aunt or something." She was like, "I ain't that old." He said, "No, just your determination and your talent." He said, "I just want to see, basically, I want to see you win, and I want to help." He said, "I can get my lawyers to draw up the papers. It'll be a more than fair distribution, split." And he was like, I'm serious. Like, I want to help you." And she said yes. Now, I'm sure that Vi ain't stupid, and Charlie and Nova ain't dumb either. And so they're going to make sure that whatever paperwork come through, it's going to be right, and going to read over it and all that good stuff. A part of me is a little apprehensive, but then there's a part of me that feels like this is the real deal, that he not going to screw her over and try to steal her money steal her stuff. But there's always a part of me that's a little apprehensive with these storylines. So we'll see. But that was pretty much what happened. So we'll see where all of this is going, because it's building up. This whole thing with Landry is building up. The Remy and Nova thing is building up. The Micah and his friends thing is building up. So we're going to see where it goes. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think.